Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Nerdy Boys Review. This is our 17th episode. This episode's all about The Flash, Season 1, Episode 3. We're going to be your hosts. I'm Scott.
I'm Christian.
And welcome back to the show. And just to start off, what'd you see from Flash this week?
Yeah, so this week we kind of see a new villain, The Mist. You also start to see, they show flashbacks with Caitlin Snow and Ronnie Raymond, so you get a sense of who her fiance was and why she's kind of closed off, and that leads into great chemistry with her and Barry Allen as they start to connect throughout the episode. You also see Joe West approaches Henry Allen about him being locked up and how he's reopening the case on the murder of Barry's mom, and that's a scene that I really liked. It moved me to tears almost. I loved how it was written. It wasn't cliche at all. It wasn't like, I forgive you. You know, it was a lot of, like you can see how angry Henry was and then how Joe played off of it. And both those actors, I think, are great.
Yeah.
And so, one of my favorite parts was just he said, I don't care that you never believed me, but you always believed in my son.
Yeah,
it's just so great. It's just so great.
That's so great.
What did you see from this episode?
Yeah, so I mean, there was a couple different things. You mentioned The Mist. That was a pretty good storyline. I liked all the effects that they did with that, and all the effects really that they did with the Flash. I feel like they kind of cleaned up some of the effects that they were using. So in this episode, he's talking about there was flashbacks to Caitlin Snow and Ronnie Raymond. There's also flashbacks to Cisco and Ronnie Raymond, right, and how Cisco feels about, how he feels that he's pretty much kind of like responsible for his death because, he locked the door upon Ronnie's request. Something I noticed too is like they kind of changed Ronnie Raymond. In the comic books he's a jock, but in this one, he's like the lead engineer.
Right. Some people are saying they like that. The reason I have a problem with it, it's just because if you know anything about Firestorm, he's the body of Firestorm, and Dr. Martenstein is the mind of Firestorm. So if you make him an engineer, he's already smart. He already knows how to do things, and it's like, why does he need Martenstein then?
Yep.
They end up getting fused anyway. Martenstein's already cast, so it doesn't really matter. But that's just something I would have liked to seen him as like a football jock or something.
Yeah, something.
Something that would make sense. So.
Yeah, and then you have like at the end, of course, where flashes back to Harrison Wells' past and his true involvement with making Barry who he is now.
Right.
He pretty much created the Flash. You don't really know his motives behind it. He seems a bit cynical and evil about it. So right now we don't really think that his intentions are good. Nobody really knows who he is still.
Yeah. I think this episode was just really packed with a lot, and it's really keeps you engaged the whole time, and it's really interesting. There's a lot of action. You get to see just how bright Caitlin Snow is, like how smart she is, how smart Cisco is.
Yep.
The Mist, that one's sticking.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a recurring theme right there. I think Cisco's going to be the one to name any future superheroes that may tag team with the Flash or any villains that oppose him,
Yeah. The acting, again, is really great. Robbie Amell was introduced as Ronnie Raymond. He's good. He did a great job, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with Dr. Stein, how he is involved, because he was there at Star Labs during the accident or whatever they want to call it.
Yep.
So we'll have to see what happens there.
Some character connections that we kind of made, where just real quick is this Barry Allen and Caitlin Snow. You just kind of get the the innuendo between them a little bit, in some of their touchy-feely scenes. So who knows what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, a lot of people are predicting a relationship, which is something I would not want to see. But you never know. Just you don't want to see that Barry Allen has a love interest with any female he comes across.
So for this episode, there's a bunch of Easter eggs, mainly centering around Firestorm. The mention of Ronnie Raymond in itself is another Easter egg we already mentioned. It is Firestorm, so there's that one, and then you seen the whole Fire and Ice thing too.
Yeah, Caitlin makes a remark. She's real closed off. kind of cold. She remarks that her and Ronnie Raymond were like fire and ice. Yep. Obviously, he's Firestorm.
Yep.
She's Killer Frost, if you don't know. So, they have this interaction in the comic books where, like, his power can limit her powers so much that it's almost like she's human again. And it's really romantic if they were together, but they're not.
So then at the beginning of the show, you see the movie signs, the Blue Devil 2 and the Rita Farr.
Yeah, the Rita Farr story.
Yep.
Blue Devil
is a hero from Firestorm, is a character from Firestorm, sorry. And also Rita Farr is Elastigirl.
Right. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see, Jeff Johns had mentioned, he's one of the main writers for DC. He's so great. He wrote Blackest Night too.
Which I'm planning on checking out.
Yeah, he did mention that the Easter eggs were all planted for a reason, that they might play a role. We saw the cage for Gorilla Grodd in the first episode, and so in this, and he's, we know Gorilla Grodd is going to show up. Yep. He mentioned that already, and he's a villain of the Flash. So it'll be interesting to see if they have Elastigirl or Blue Devil or anything like that in the show. We know they're going to have Firestorm already.
Yeah, and then you see the Easter egg of the 52 sign in like the same little chamber room as the particle accelerator. I mean, obviously, just being that blatant is just okay.
Right.
A little Easter egg, a little reference saying, hey, 52.
Yeah, more allusions of New 52. We know they're influenced by New 52. They show up a lot in Arrow and in The Flash. This is the first time we're mentioning it because I feel like people are trying too hard with it. But, it's just making connections. Like, it might not be a real connection, but, it's obviously, like, they're going to that number for a reason.
Yep. And then just a quick little side note. I don't know if it's necessarily an Easter egg, but the Mist is not just a made-up character from the show. He's actually a pretty well-known villain by Golden Age Flash and more of like the New Age Starman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Golden Age Flash was Jay Garrick, if you don't know. But yeah, this show is just really, really good.
Yep.
Acting, effects are better. One grievance I kind of have is just I would have rather them kept Multiplex in one of the cells than the Mist, because Multiplex is an actual Firestorm villain. Yep. He was last week's villain. And then they're kind of doing the villain of the week sort of thing, which you see on certain TV shows every once in a while, but we're really looking for an overarching theme.
Yep.
So maybe when we get Captain Cold next week, we'll see that start to develop.
Yeah, so if you had to give a grade, what would it be?
I'd give an A. Mostly all of it was great. The acting is still great, like we were saying. But, just little things like changing Ronnie Raymond. I'm a stickler for little things like that. And then just the love interest thing. Because Felicity's coming back next week, too. And, they have their little connection. So I don't want it to be every female Barry Allen's like, I could be with her.
Yep.
But he can't ever be with Iris until they get married.
True. So if I had to give a grade, I'd give the same exact grade for pretty much the same exact reasons. Don't want to see all these different love interests for Barry, and just the little details that they changed about Ronnie Raymond. But that's all I really have.
So that's it for the Flash. Be sure to check out our Twitter, Nerdy Boys Reviews, our website. Links are on our. Links to our website's on Twitter, links to our Twitter on our website, our Facebook, YouTube, everything. So check those out. I'm Christian.
I'm Scott.
And this is Nerdy Boys Reviews. Stay nerdy, boys!